Warning: if you are against the consumptive use and the ethical harvest of fur-bearing animals, please leave this channel now. This is no place for pansies, sissies, or crybabies. All right, guys, I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's the track right there. There's the evidence of the coyote coming through. And there's some more evidence. We've got some hair on the fence. This is a nice swale right here, and what we've got across the top of this knob here, you see that big lone tree standing right there. There's the landmark. You've got a really nice cedar choked draw coming up through this cow pasture, coming across, and those coyotes are turning right there at that big tree and coming right through here. So guys, I'm telling you, if you can get out this time of the year, if you're legal to trap them in the road ditches or even back in on private property, if you've got permission, get back in them places, get along these roads and find those crawl unders. They're going to produce for you. So anyway, let's get on down the road and we'll go set some beaver traps. All right, guys, so here we are on this beaver job. They've been doing a lot of cutting across the lake. Probably won't get there today, but we'll get there tomorrow for sure. The lodge, I don't know how well I can get you to see it or not, but anyway, oh yeah, it's right there. Around this dock. The lodge is right there. Now, it's not a very well kept lodge, but they said they saw 2 beaver just the other night up there in the yard. My guess is probably a pair of big old ones. Could be wrong. I think there's probably another bank den right down yonder. Really need to try to get on that point, but I don't know that I can get there. Anyway, we're going to drop a castor mound in, I think about right there where my spade is. And then we'll try to get something over here on the other side of the lodge as well. Like I said, if I can get down on that point right there, that would be an ideal location. Beaver will check out every point that they can. In fact, one time, I'll never forget this, just to reiterate the fact of a point. All right, I was trapping beaver on the Des Moines River in Ottumwa, Iowa, above the dam. All right, I was floating from the boat access at Eddyville, Iowa, coming to Ottumwa. There was a sofa cushion on the bank of the river, and the corner of it was sticking out in the water. All right, I put a castor mound right on that point of that sofa cushion. 7 days in a row, I took a beaver out of that set. Now, that just shows you that any kind of a point, it doesn't matter what it is, any kind of point, beaver will check out. Otters will cross over those points instead of exerting the energy to swim around them. They'll cross over them a lot of times. So, you know, if you're setting them, you want to be aware that, you know, if otter season's closed, you want to be aware that there's a good chance you're going to pick up an otter there, which, again, as I've said many times in many videos about beaver, that's the reason one of the reasons I do not drown my beaver. I'm not going to give the state of Iowa any more otters, because they just pitch them anyway. Either that or they're skinning them and putting them up and selling them and using the money in the slush fund or whatever they're doing. It's not right, okay? And, you know, and then one year back in the mid-90s, before we had a season on them, they contacted me, wanted me to skin, scrape, and stretch and dry a bunch of otter for them, and they were going to sell them and then put that money in a slush fund. And that's when the otter market was just starting to creep up. I mean, they were a $100 bill in anybody's money. They had 600 of them in the state freezer, and I told them I would do that for them. If they were going to do that, I was willing to skin them and put them up for them for a $5 bill a piece, which was dirt cheap. I went on. I never heard no more out of them. Finally contacted the director, and he said, yeah, he said, we couldn't get the tags for them from the feds, so we just ended up loading them on straight trucks and hauling them to the landfill. That's bullshit. That is a clear case of wanton waste. I don't care if it is the state or if it's me, it's you, it's whoever it is. That's still wanton waste. There's no reason for it. So therefore, I no longer give anything to the state that I don't have to. So anyway, off my rant and more on to what we're doing here. All right, guys, so here's Here's something I've been over several times in these videos. Y'all have seen this, you know, several times. But for some reason, I think there's still some that may or may not be getting it. So we're going to go over it again, just to help everybody out if I can. So you can see I built my castor mound up there, that big hump of mud. I've cut this channel with my spade back there into the bank. Now the water, try to do this without dropping my phone. The water here is only a couple inches deep. It's not very deep at all. But then this is where my beaver's going to breast. Okay, he's going to breast right here. Or he may breast over there and walk up around to work the mound, or he may breast over here and walk up there to work the mound. But his easiest way back is right through that channel. Now chances are if I catch him coming back, I'm going to catch him by the back foot. That's fine. I don't care if I catch him by the tip of the nose as long as he's still there when I get there. But I've dug a bed right here, and you can see the difference in the water depth from there to there. Once he breasts here, his first step is off down in this hole. Now it's no different than you and I walking out across your yard, and if you step off in a hole, you've got more weight going on that foot than you do the other one, all right? So it's going to result in a deeper catch, along with running 5 pounds of pan tension. That's very important. You've got to have pan tension on these beaver traps in order to make a decent catch. You can't go out there with a bunch of floppy pan stuff and think you're going to whip the world trapping beaver. It's not going to happen. You're going to end up with a bunch of snap traps, toes, those kind of things. So make sure you're running plenty of adequate pan tension to catch the beaver. You can go as high as 7 or 8 pounds and it's not going to hurt a thing. But you want to be somewhere in around that 5 pound mark. Heavier is even better yet. So that's, beaver have that automatic reaction at anything they bump with their chest, they automatically put their feet down. Now, I know guys put sticks in front of their traps and all that monkey business, and that's fine. If that's working for you, that's what you want to do, keep doing it. I prefer to either put a berm of dirt out here in front, just under the surface of the water, or let the natural taper of the bank do it for me. That's just my personal preference. You do it however you feel comfortable doing it. That's fine. I don't have a problem with it as long as it's working for you. I've had guys ask me, you know, well, what would it hurt to put a trap on the outside of the berm and then one on the inside of the berm? That's not necessary. The berm is there to stop him and make him step over into the trap. The channel is cut to help guide him into it. I mean, I'm trying to make this as simple and as easy as I can for y'all guys. I mean, it doesn't get any easier than this. My traps are set up on 10 feet of chain or 10 feet of 1/8 inch cable. I don't drown anything, as I stated earlier, and I've stated in several other videos as well. I don't drown them. I hold them alive. Now, you can see the bank is pretty clear for the most part of obstructions, but it's not completely clear. It doesn't have to be. I've wrapped these things up tighter than you can imagine, and as long as you're using the right style and the right kind of trap, this will work for you. If you're going out here trying to put TS85s on front feet or MB 750s or Bridger number 5s, it's not going to work. Okay, I cannot stress that enough. Those big traps, even the number 3 and 4 double long springs, it's not going to work. You're going to ring off, all right? And the reason being, that beaver gets wrapped up. Let's say he gets wrapped up there around that little tree right yonder, all right? Right ahead of my spade there. He gets wrapped up there, and he's hanging down here somewhere, and he's spinning and rolling, and that big trap is going to hang in the mud and in the dirt, and it's going to stop. The beaver, however, is not. And once you break those 2 front leg bones, it's nothing for him to twist out then. He's gone, okay? So you've got to use the right style and the right kind of trap for this method to work. My favorite is the number 3 Bridger Doggone, or the number 4 Duke Doggone. Now, if you're targeting nothing but back feet, that's a different story. You can get by with them big traps that way. You don't have to have that smaller trap. But in order to hold them by the front foot, like I do, and target a front foot, This is the way it has to be done, guys. And this is the only time you're ever going to hear me say this. This has to be done this way. All right. Most times I try to tell you, figure out, a method that works for you. But I'm telling you, this is the method. This is what you have to do in order to make this work. You cannot use those big traps on front feet and not drown them. If you're drowning them, perfect. More power to you. Works great. If you're trying to hold them alive like I do, it's not going to work. So, okay, off of that soapbox, let's get this set put in. All right, guys, so we've got our trap staked. I'll try to flip that chain so you can see it maybe. Set the trap down. Okay, we've got our trap staked right there. It's just on a Berkshire heavy-duty disposable stake right there. Trap is set. We're going to place it here in our bed. We want it the loose jaw centered up with the center of the castor mound, and it's placed right there. Make sure that it's seated down in there solid. We don't want it tipping, we don't want it rocking, we just want it in there nice. Loose jaw is right here. Center of the mound right there. Okay, you got that? Now, all that's left to do is lure this thing up and we're out of here. Okay, we've got a big shot Iowa silver there on the mound. I put just a little bit in water. You're not going to be able to see the oil slick real well because the water's so muddy and dirty. We got pretty good rain here the other day. But if you could see it, it's blowing right down along the edge of the bank. That oil slick is going to go right around that dock, underneath it, around it, and it's going to keep blowing right down the bank, right in front of that lodge where we want it. That acts as a scent trail for those beaver to follow right back around, right to our set. That's pretty much all there is to it, guys. All right, guys, I want to thank y'all for watching, and sorry I got on such a soapbox there. I didn't aim to. It just kind of happened and it come out the way it did. Sorry about that. Not sorry. Anyway, appreciate y'all tuning in to watching. If you would, please just hit that thumbs up for me. That's all I'm asking. Once again, this is Dale Billingsley with another one. Signing out.